There is a version of you that other people have already built in their minds. They know what you will say before you say it. They have rehearsed the conversation with you before it even happens. By the time you sit down across from them, you have already lost. This is not paranoia. This is architecture. Every person you meet is running a model of you in their head, updating it with every word, every habit, every flinch. The moment that model is complete, you become controllable. Not through force, not through lies, just prediction. Once someone can predict you, they can steer you, and you will not even feel the hand on the wheel. Here is what Machiavelli never said directly, but built his entire philosophy around. The moment you become knowable, you become owned. Your brain was not built to find truth. It was built to predict outcomes fast enough to stay alive. That is why you size up a stranger in 3 seconds, not because you are shallow, because your nervous system is running a threat assessment older than language itself. The same circuit that once decided whether an approaching figure was safe now decides in boardrooms and bedrooms who holds the power in the room. And here is the part no one tells you. Predictability is not a virtue. It is a vulnerability wearing the mask of trustworthiness. The moment someone can finish your sentence, they have already started finishing your decisions. Ask yourself something. The last time someone hurt you with precision, not by accident, but exactly where it would land, how did they know where to aim? They knew because you had shown them the target enough times to memorize it. Florence, early 16th century, a city of alliances that shifted faster than the seasons. Machiavelli spent years inside these rooms, watching men rule and fall. He noticed something the moralists of his time refused to admit. The rulers who survived were rarely the most virtuous. They were the most illegible. Cesare Borgia understood this instinctively, a man who could be generous one week and merciless the next, so that no rival could plan 2 moves ahead of him. Borgia's enemies did not fear his cruelty. They feared not knowing when it would arrive. That fear did more work than any army. Machiavelli watched this and drew a conclusion that would outlive him by 5 centuries. Consistency is a gift you hand to your enemies. It gives them a map. Take the map away, and the strongest man in the room starts waiting instead of attacking.
You have likely already seen this play out, just without the candlelight. A CEO walks into a meeting where everyone expects a decision. He listens. He asks 2 questions. He says nothing about which direction he favors, and he ends the meeting without resolution. The room leaves more anxious than when it arrived, and more attentive. Every executive in that room spends the next 3 days trying to guess his position instead of pursuing their own. Nobody taught him Machiavelli. He simply learned the way powerful people always learn it, that the withheld decision commands more attention than the announced one ever could.
Here is where most people copying this get it wrong, and it costs them everything. Unpredictability is not chaos. Chaos is a man with no internal structure, reacting to whatever hits him. Controlled ambiguity is the opposite. It is a fully governed system that simply refuses to show its rules to outsiders. The powerful man is not erratic. He is inscrutable. His decisions follow a private logic. You just never get to see it. This is why calm and unpredictable so often live in the same face. The calm is not an accident. It is the visible signature of a mind that decided long ago what you do not get to know.
You have been taught that openness builds trust. This teaching serves whoever is listening to your openness far more than it serves you. History is full of leaders who gave away more than they realized, sometimes through plans, sometimes through patterns, sometimes simply by becoming too easy to read. A commander who announces his strategy to build morale hands that same strategy to any spy in the room. Machiavelli's answer was not deception. Deception collapses the moment it is caught. His answer was selective disclosure. Reveal only what serves the plan. Treat every unprompted confession as a wound you gave yourself. The powerful do not lie about who they are. They simply refuse to finish the sentence and let the room finish it wrong.
Here is the uncomfortable question. Why do you over-explain yourself to people who never asked? It is not honesty, it is fear. The fear of being misread, dressed up as conscience. That fear is one of the most efficient leashes ever placed on a human being because it never feels like control, it feels like decency. But every time you clarify, correct, and over-communicate, you are handing over the exact wiring diagram of what moves you. The day you realize people do not love you, they love predicting you, is the day something in you changes permanently. Machiavelli's insight cuts against the instinct to explain completely. The man who needs to be understood has already surrendered his position. The man who can tolerate being misread keeps in authority the compulsive explainer never will.
You already know this scene. Someone goes quiet on you, and within an hour you have sent 3 messages explaining your side, softening your tone, managing their perception of you. You told yourself it was maturity. It was something closer to panic. The moment you cannot tolerate someone else's silence, you have handed them a lever, and they did not even have to pull it. They just had to wait.
Trained interrogators learn one rule before anything else. Silence is a weapon, and most human beings cannot survive it. Leave a gap in a conversation and the average person will rush to fill it, often with the exact information they meant to protect. This is not an accident of personality. It is a structural weakness in how people process unresolved tension. The man who has mastered silence understands this and refuses to hand over the data. He does not confirm whether your provocation landed. He does not confirm anything. And in any negotiation, political, professional, personal, the person who needs less information to stay calm always holds the room.
Here is the part that sounds inhumane until you look at the history. Loyalty built on affection is brittle. Loyalty built on calculated uncertainty is durable. When people are certain of your goodwill, they stop working to keep it. Certainty removes the incentive. Renaissance courts ran on this exact principle. A ruler's favor was never guaranteed, and that uncertainty is precisely what kept every advisor sharp, alert, and unwilling to take their position for granted. This is not cruelty for its own sake. It is a recognition that human beings invest effort in proportion to risk. Remove the risk and you remove the effort. Comfort breeds complacency. Calculated distance breeds vigilance, and vigilance, uncomfortable as it is to say out loud, is what most loyalty is actually built from.
You have watched this happen in an office before, maybe your own. The manager who is warm with everyone but transparent about nothing keeps the entire floor working harder than the one who hands out praise freely. Nobody can say exactly what earns her approval, so everyone keeps trying. The moment she becomes predictable, the moment her favor is guaranteed regardless of effort, the room exhales, and the exhale is the end of her leverage.
Modern culture treats the mask as proof of dishonesty. That framing misses the point entirely. A mask is not a lie about your face, it is a boundary around it.
Every functioning hierarchy in history has run on the understanding that certain internal states are not owed to an audience simply because the audience is curious. The powerful man does not remove the mask to prove he is authentic, because authenticity was never the currency he was trading in. Identity performed with discipline survives longer than identity exposed without filter. What looks like inauthenticity from the outside is, from the inside, structural integrity, the only thing standing between him and whoever would dismantle what they found underneath.
None of this is free. It would be dishonest to sell it as one. A man who cultivates unpredictability pays for it in isolation. The same ambiguity that keeps opponents off balance also keeps the people closest to him at arm's length, because they receive the same withheld information as everyone else. Machiavelli's own life suggests that political insight does not always translate into personal closeness, a detail his admirers rarely mention. The moment they know exactly how to hurt you, they stop fearing you. But the moment they know nothing at all, they cannot love you either. Not fully, not the way love usually asks to be let in. Strategic ambiguity is not a lifestyle upgrade. It is a trade between control and connection, and almost no one gets to keep both. The man who is never fully known cannot be fully betrayed. He also cannot be fully held. Power like this does not make a man more human, it makes him armored. And armor is only ever worn where a wound was already possible.
You will not become unreadable by performing mystery for an audience that already suspects the act. What Machiavelli described was never a costume. It was a discipline, the slow, deliberate withdrawal of unearned access to your inner workings in a world that treats openness as an opportunity rather than a gift. So ask yourself honestly, how much of what you reveal each day is necessary, and how much of it is simply your own discomfort with being misunderstood, handed for free to people who were never entitled to it. The question is not whether you should become unpredictable, it is whether you have ever been anything else, or whether you have simply been legible all along to people who never once had your interests in mind. You will not leave this video the same person who pressed play.